was an extensive 20-year study done on the effects of marijuana on lung damage, and the findings of the study were really interesting.
Medical report should tell you about this morning. It turns out pot doesn't harm your lungs. In moderation. All medical studies say in moderation.
But what I want to say is that people shouldn't get too excited about this because, as you pointed out, all they looked at was lung function. Other studies have shown that people who smoke pot are more likely to have cognitive problems, more likely to have memory problems, more likely to develop depression and psychoses. So, you know, sure, your lungs might be okay, but you might be psychotic. So keep that in mind before you light up. That we've noticed that this is the #1 story on CNN.com, written by my colleague Ann Curley here at CNN Medical. And right, exactly.
We're stunned. We're stunned here. Oh, it's all circled the drain. Elizabeth Cohen for us, updating us on this story that apparently, you know, we're laughing, but like this is the #1 story on CNN.com. Is that right? The #1 story on CNN. So they were looking at damage to the lungs. They weren't looking at cancer, and they weren't looking at sort of other things as well in this study. Is that right?
So funny, man. I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years. But the reason, like, I'm a little skeptical is because there's just been too many great studies on marijuana. Like, every study's like, no, it turns out, you know, marijuana makes you smarter, it improves your memory, it improves your lung capacity.
Dr. Donald Tashkin is a very good researcher at UCLA. He is a pulmonologist. His research demonstrated that the incidence of lung cancer in people who smoked cannabis was less than the incidence of lung cancer in people who smoked nothing at all.
We highly recommend that you guys check out a report done by the Schaefer Commission back in the 1970s. This is a study that was commissioned by Nixon, okay? And Nixon basically wanted them to find that marijuana is harmful to public safety. What the study found was that marijuana is not harmful at all. You got to keep in mind that this is something that was done over the course of 20 years, and it's a very extensive study. Also,
no, it's perfectly legitimate. Those are great universities that have done it. I mean, it doesn't mean they're right, but it means that they put significant research behind it.
Right.
And so I believe it. It's just amazing that, like, alcohol will screw you up big time, right? Perfectly legal. Like, turns out occasional marijuana use in a couple of different ways is pretty good for you. We're like, illegal, it's dangerous, danger, right? It's how we make our laws is ridiculous. And not only have we decided it's super dangerous, but we've locked up millions of people for smoking a drug that apparently is kind of good for you.